Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Let's continue tonight with Master YongHua's Chan instructions. Oh yeah, did I want to make an announcement? Yes, I do want to make an announcement tonight. Tonight, I'd like to share with you some bad news, some sad news. That is, Master Xian Xin's father just passed away last night. So we'd like to extend our condolences to her and her family. We are taking care of his 49-day service as per her request. And he's doing quite well, and we hope that he'll go to the Pure Land quickly. So if you could say that his passing away was a real good one. He basically went to his room, sat down, and he passed away without any signs of pain or suffering at all. It's some heart failure, apparently according to the medical people. They tried to resuscitate him for half an hour to no avail. So that's where he is, and I think it's in a way it's a sad thing, but it's a good thing for him to start a new chapter in his journey, in this journey to Buddhahood. So we expect him to go to be with Amitabha Buddha soon. The sooner the better. That's what we try to do here. For what I try to do here for you and for your family. Okay. All right. Again, our condolences, and it's the mother is holding up very well, and so we wish her the very best. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
他所注重呢，就是参禅，他所教化人呢，也是用参禅。
His focus was on investigating Chan. He taught and transformed others also through investigating Chan.
所以，在这个几千里以外啊，都写信呢，请教他。在当时，这个一般的人就叫他叫大禅师。
So people from several thousand miles away wrote him for advice. Ordinary people call him the great Chan master.
Okay, so it's typical back then at the time in China, there were interested in learning meditation as well. Of course, the non-Buddhist meditation methods were abundant, plentiful from all the Chinese are very advanced, very sophisticated. Actually, the Taoist meditation practices are fairly advanced. And however, because Master, what's his name again, Dharma Mitra, okay. He was certified to fruition, so his Chan skills, his meditation skills were a lot more advanced than the non-Buddhist practitioners. And so that's why typically for us, when we start teaching you, one of the better ways to help you understand and introduce you to Buddhism is to teach you meditation. Okay. And so that's what he did, and he's fairly well known, fairly well respected for his meditation skills.
在这个当时有一个贵级的太守他住在平仓那个地方，叫孟一。
At that time, there was a prefect of Huiji. He lived in Pingchang. His name was Meng Yi.
这位太守是个做官的，但是他相信佛法，他以这个佛教为己任，以这个佛教作为他自己的责任。
This prefect was an official, but he also believed in the Buddha Dharma and took Buddhism as his own responsibility.
Okay, so now at the time there's an official, Meng Yi, and he was a high-level official, a top-ranking official in that particular area. And as a good official back then, these people have wisdom, have blessings, and therefore they believed that the best way to govern and to help the people, the population, was to teach them about Buddhism, about the Buddha Dharma. That's very interesting for you to see that back then there is this clear pursuit of the ideal of being an official, where you do it in order to benefit the population, the populace, not to stuff your pocket with money. Okay, those are the good officials, if you will. Okay. And what does it have to do with you? It has to do with you, the fact that maybe now you've been exposed to this kind of Buddhism we've been teaching you. We call it American Buddhism. It's probably slightly different from the way that this official here looks at, or my masters and his disciple looked at, in the sense that they want to propagate the Buddhism by making it available, okay, which is a great thing. We are slightly different in that we don't need to tread the same path. We are taking care of both that, and as well as taking care of the upper segments of practitioners, where we want to bring you to higher level attainments. Okay, and that's if we can do that, then you yourself will benefit others in your own circles, in your own spheres of influence. Meaning that, let's say you happen to be a doctor or something, and then if you attain to the fruition and you get to higher levels of meditation practices, you'll be able to perform, you'll be able to be a real influence on your patients and your colleagues and your company and so forth. Okay, so that's why in a way it's important for us to continue to do our work, because the emphasis here is about you. Okay, not simply like these people here, this official here in China, or the Chinese style is they spread it widely open so that everyone can have access to it, everyone knows about it. I'm personally more interested in producing more advanced practitioners where you can really make a huge impact on society, okay, by your contribution, by your ability to produce, by your wisdom, by your vision. Okay, so that's slightly different from the Chinese, if you will. Continue, please.
那么听说这位法师这么大的声名，所以他也就请他。
When he heard about this Dharma master's fame, he also invited him.
So the master was well known, a master's reputation, not fame. Fame is more like singers and so forth. This is his reputation as a good Chan teacher. And therefore, you see, the Chinese have this tradition already. they would invite the teachers. The Asians have this tradition of inviting teachers over to their areas and share the teachings to their own people, or their friends and acquaintances and the people they know. And that's remarkable. That's what they believe, what they need to do to propagate Buddhism. We are slightly different, as I said. We are doing that as well because we want to include everyone, but also I particularly would like to address the need of the upper segments of the practitioners who need more help to realize the fruitions a lot quicker and a lot higher level of fruitions. Okay? That's the difference. Continue.
到他那地方去，和他在一起，来研究佛法。当时啊，这。
So Meng Yi also invited Master Mitra to his place to investigate the Buddha Dharma with him.
这个地方在中国啊，这个人呢，信什么呢？信这个巫祝。
At that time in China, in this area, what did the people believe? They believed in witchcraft.
Okay, so you see, this official is a scholar. Clearly, he read a lot of Buddhist books, a lot of translations, Buddhist translations, texts from Sanskrit into Chinese, and he loved it. Buddhist scriptures are very, very interesting, very intriguing for the smart people. Particularly, I can imagine that in the early days, most of the texts that were translated into Chinese from Sanskrit were more like at low levels, more like Hinayana Vaipulya, so low-level types of teachings, and therefore people were interested. If you had the high-level Mahayana texts like Avatamsaka Sutra and so forth, or Master YongHua's teachings, I doubt that will be a lot of officials would be able to grasp it. So this guy here, he understood the Buddhist texts that were translated into Chinese. So again, I feel it's probably low level Agama, meaning Hinayana level, Vaipulya, which is the next level, a little bit higher than Agama, okay? And that's to prepare the practitioners to go into enlightenment in a way. And that's what many of you eventually have to go to. And to reach, after you reach fourth stage Arhat, you need to go into Vaipulya and such dharmas in order to make it to the big enlightenment that we shoot for in Buddhism. Okay, that's why I'm hoping many, many of you will become enlightened that way. There's a beautiful pathway that you need to go through. I know that quite a few of you are on that path towards establishing a strong base for American Mahayana. The base of Mahayana is you, not the scriptures, in my mind. Okay. Now, so this official here, he apparently seems to love reading the scriptures, and so he invited the master to come over and research the scriptures with him. I don't know what he means by researching scriptures. If you're an official, you ask me to come over and research the scripture with you, I said, why should I? And you need to research. I don't need to research with you. Okay, and so to tell you that this Mitra here, and this Fa Xiu here, his level of attainment or understanding of the Buddha Dharma is not that profound, but it was remarkable enough for China back then, in the early days of Buddhism in China. Okay, so at those times, what did people want? They were just as typical of most places, whether you are in China or you're in India, or you're in Brazil, or you're in Vietnam and so forth. There's plenty of practitioners who use witchcraft, who use a sort of mantras to impress people. And that's what I found interesting. I talked to some Vietnamese monks who are in the mantra side of Vietnamese Buddhism, and that's what they use too. They use mantras in order to fight the demons and the ghosts and so forth. And unfortunately, they haven't. They use those skills prematurely. They're not supposed to use those skills, okay? And only because the masters have not attained the proper level to be able to have the wisdom to use those mantras properly. And therefore, they engage in these practices that are not good for them, because I see them being stuck. The whole bunch of them being stuck and getting in trouble. Okay, you have to be careful. You don't want to practice blindly, because you cannot tell the difference. This is a problem with Buddhism in the world. Just because you enjoy the text, just because you can explain the text, and understand the superficial side of the Buddhist texts, doesn't mean that you can really help others with Buddhism. And in particular, this, in a way, the Chinese are smart. Chinese patriarchs are smart. They suspended, they cut off the secret school lineage in China, because it's probably rampant with abuses. If you have use mantras in your practices, it's very tempting for you to use mantras before you have the wisdom to know when to use them. And if you use them improperly, it will have a very bad adverse effect on your spiritual practice. So that's why I think it's great that the Chinese cut off the secret school lineages, because I see the other secret schools, like in Japan, for example, they're probably not strong enough to have even such lineage at all. And I'd admit to you that when I was a novice at Master YongHua's temples, I was interested in secret school, because it's kind of a cool thing, and was disappointed to hear that the Chinese discontinued the secret school, and only the Japanese still has it, and Tibetan, of course, still has it. And that's how I was tempted to go to Japan to learn both Zen and the secret school and so forth. Lucky I didn't, okay? Because it's a good thing, I feel, that the Chinese discontinued the secret school. It's too much abuse right now from the mantra practices. And for example, even Master YongHua's disciples, those of us who left the association, like for example, in his system, they are not allowed to transmit the hands and eyes. Okay, they can't. There are only a handful of people, whether it's on a monk side or a woman side, a nun side, who were authorized to do the transmission. Okay. However, after Master Hsien Hua disciples left the associations, monks and nuns, I don't know about nuns, but the monks, they left the association, went out, and of course, we have the reputation of having a hands and eyes practice, so a lot of people would come to us, and especially hearing that we came from Master Hsien Hua's lineage, so a lot of people were interested. And even though they're not authorized to transmit the hands and eyes due to pressure to make a living, to sustain their practice, get support for their practice, they started transmitting the hands and eyes improperly. They're not authorized to do that. And that's why basically it's so detrimental that basically these people have no chance with their spiritual practice. They're done now and for a long time. Now, you tell me, is it worth it for you to do something like called stealing a Dharma and hurting a lot of people because you are improper practice in exchange to get a few temples? And the price you pay is for zillions of years. You will not be able to encounter the proper Dharma or the great teachers. If you're lucky enough to go to the Pure Land, I bet you that my vote is for such people. They should go to jail in the Pure Land. They cannot. They don't deserve to be with us and pollute us. So that's why when you see the Chinese system, they really have true wisdom. The Chinese teacher, the Chinese patriarch had great wisdom. It's a good thing they discontinue the Tantra practices. Now, then the question is, how come Master Hsien Hua transmitted the Tantras? He's a specialist in these mantra practices. However, he stressed more on the training in Chan and Pure Land and so forth, not so much on the mantras. He only transmitted the mantras internally for us, not for outsiders. Okay? It's because he had the foresight to understand that eventually, when we're ready to work, if you have wisdom, then it's okay to use mantras. If you practice Chan and you practice Chan and with mantras, then the Chan practitioner with mantras will be a lot more useful than a Chan practitioner without mantras. Okay? So that's Master Hsien Hua's vision. He saw that in our generation, second generation, and third generation, you be ready to practice because you reach levels of wisdom where you are capable of using mantras in your practice, in your work. Okay, so we're very lucky that Master Hsien Hua had that vision already for us. Continue.
巫祝就是这个鬼呀，有个鬼到他身上来了，会说话什么事情他都知道。
Witchcraft is to have a ghost. This ghost would possess the person. It can talk and it knows everything.
Yeah, this is quite commonplace in India, in China apparently as well. I know of the many Indian practitioners. For example, that guy, what's this guy? I forgot already. The guy who used to make a diamond appear in his hand.
Si Baba something.
Something, Si Baba, something like that, right? Huh? Anyone knows his name? He's a fake. But a lot of these people, they they use trickery, especially the Indians, the people in India. They use a lot of trickery in order to impress the followers and pick their pockets. But this guy is also fake, and he's Si Baba, right? Si Baba or something like that, Sai Baba or something. And he had a lot of Caucasian followers too. But these practitioners, what they do is here in the U.S. we have Hai Ching. Okay, Jinghai, not Hai Ching. Sorry, Jinghai is a Vietnamese, ex-Vietnamese nun who went to India to learn the Sikh mantras, and they use those tricks in order to have a lot of followers, if you will. Okay. Now, when I talk about this, you don't want to talk like me because you get in trouble with them. I'm not afraid of them. Okay. Actually, they are pretty weak to me. Okay. What's her name? Jinghai is pretty weak. It's her supporters are strong. They're using these people. They're using the people who practice these practices. Actually, they're possessed by ghosts and demons. So they use these as front man or front woman. Jinghai is just a front woman. She's basically has no real skills. She's an idiot. He asked me. Okay, she cannot do anything. Okay? But her supporters, the one who prop her up, are pretty good. But okay, so this is commonplace for back then for these spiritual practices. They have these abilities to know the past, especially your past, because the ghosts possesses them, and then they can tell. Looking at your record, your past, and that's why they had a lot of followers. So don't do that. In particular for you here, people here who are interested in going to see those fortune tellers and so forth, and fine, they can look at you fine, but do not allow them to touch you or enter you. Okay, because once you do that, you open the door for their ghosts to come into you. And that's how they spread their sorcery, their craft. Okay, I've seen too many monks and nuns here in the U.S., especially Asian monks and nuns, who fell into this trap. I don't know, a long time ago, if I don't remember the story anymore. When I first started teaching, as per my master's order, suggestion, if you will, and I used to go around and look at how people spread Buddhism. Because Master YongHua didn't give me exact instruction on what to do exactly. So I had to go and experiment and learn what's going on, what people do. So I went to this temple in San Jose, Cantonese temple. And one of the novices there was a man who took refuge under a nun. Okay. And so my Dharma brother knew them, so he brought me to that temple because I had nothing to lose, had nothing else to do, lots of free time. So he had free food, free room and board. Why not? So I went with him. We met this new novice there in the temple. And he took a liking to us. So he said, let me tell you a little secret. I'm here, but I'm really not learning from this, my Shifu. Okay, I'm practicing actually, what's that, that guy in Seattle who met Master YongHua. an externalist who claimed to be Master Hsien-Hua disciples as well, took refuge from Master Hsien-Hua. Anyone remembers? I told you the story a long time ago. Huh? Anyone remembers? Okay. And so he says, this is a very cool thing. My uncle is a disciple of that guy in Seattle. And so my uncle brought me to see him, and the guy anointed me and accepted me. So I said, what do you mean anointed me? He says he said, accepted me as his disciple and then touched my forehead. They touch you, the forehead, and say, I transmit to you my Dharma. So this guy then, now he says, now I'm able to enter this trance where, so he said, what trance? I asked. He says, let me show it to you. Okay? So the three of us, me and my two Dharma brothers who used to be novices from under Master Hsien-Hua, we all left. Okay, all three of us left. Okay, but we were there hanging out. Okay, and so the guy started put his hand together and nothing happened. Okay, and then so he said, "This is strange. Usually, as soon as I put my hands together, within like less than 1 minute, I will go into this trance right away. I don't know what happened today. So I tell you what, let me cross my legs." He got into full lotus, and he said, and still nothing happened. So he said, "This is really, really strange." He didn't know I was simply, so you don't go into this, the ghost thing with you, right? So let me show you. Let's see who's more powerful, your ghost or my Buddha, my Amitabha Buddha. I simply recited Amitabha Buddha when he was doing his thing. And the ghost is so scared, he wouldn't even care. He wouldn't even come near that guy. Okay? Reciting Buddha's name, that's all. I didn't do any mantras or anything. Just I said, okay, you dare come here, let me recite Amitabha Buddha's name, and it will emit light so that I dare you to come near the light. And they, sure enough, they didn't dare come near the light. Okay, and so after I saw him struggle, I said, okay, let's see what they up to. So I stopped reciting Buddha's name, and sure enough, he entered his trance immediately, and he started going around and dancing and moving and punching and so forth, and he kept on hitting his hand against the table, this table here, the sharp corner here. Okay, he hits his hand on the table. You know what? I immediately look at his hand. It's like this. There's no red mark, nothing whatsoever. Pretty impressive, huh? I can do it too, but it's a show off. I can teach you how to do it too, but I'm not going to teach you. It's a show off thing. Okay. Anyway, so he's jumping around, he's dancing around, he's going, and he's like a crazy man. Okay, and then he came closer and closer to the table where they kept the fruits and the knife to peel the skin of the persimmons. Okay, so he came closer and closer to the knife. And we were sitting around the table, myself and my two Dharma brothers. So I said, you ain't going near the knife, okay? I don't know. You grab the knife, it's not good for us, okay? I don't want to be responsible. I said, stop. In my mind, I said, stop. And sure enough, he's done. So that's the extent of these ghost things. They're only there to impress you. They really have no substance. They're pretty weak. Yeah. Okay. don't be impressed. Okay? They only scare the weak and oppress the weak. Yes, 8.
From Diego. I have a friend who likes to smoke marijuana. He calls himself a Pratyeka Buddha, and he likes to smoke and recite mantras. My question is, if he recites Amitabha Buddha's name under the influence of that, will he create offenses instead of blessings?
No, he'll be fine. And in fact, I had to deal with a cocaine demon himself. Okay, and the cocaine demon is a little bit stronger, more powerful than a marijuana demon. Okay, and they also pretty impressive. They also try to do things to impress you. And so the demon came to me and said, see how cool I am? I can do all these things. I said, what things? Do it again. And he couldn't do anything. So he ran away as well. We are amicable terms. Okay. But so, you see, these ghosts, they do things to impress you. The demons do things to impress you. But actually, in our Buddhist practices, they can't really affect us at all. Okay? Because we deal with the substance. They deal with the trying to impress you. You have the gold, you have the jewels. Why do you need to impress anyone? It's yours already. You understand? So all these things, they do things to impress the followers, to entrap them. That's all. Continue.
因为他什么事情他都知道啊，所以一般人就认为这是神通了，这是有神通。一般
Because it knows everything, people thought this is spiritual penetration. It is spiritual penetration.
Yeah, and they call it spiritual penetration, whether the what is it, the Thai or the Tibetans are trying to move things or do little things like that. It's just trickeries. It really doesn't do anything. Okay, yeah. And they call it spiritual penetration. For us, spiritual penetration are the real deals where they're really handy for you to help others, not to impress others. Continue.
人都相信这个，相信这种巫祝。巫祝啊，这祝就是给你说几句好话。
People all believed in this. They believe in this Wu-zhu. Wu-zhu, the zhu is to say something nice to you.
比如你生小孩子啊，他就给你说啊，这个小孩子长命百岁，快高长大啊，这是。
For example, if you are having a baby, it would say, your child will live a long life to 100 years old. He will quickly grow tall and big.
给说的吉祥话，那么说是这小孩子可以活到100岁，快高长大。
This is to say auspicious words. It would say this child can live to 100 years old and he will quickly grow up.
他懂这个，快高啊，就快点高了，长大。
But how did he know? Quick tall means to grow tall quickly. Grow up means grow big.
就是这个巫祝呢，人就欢喜给人讲这个话。
The person who is the Uju also likes to say such things.
You see, we don't say those things. We avoid saying those things, those pleasant things, nice things, because they create attachments. They confuse you. What we try to do is help you avoid confusion, eliminate your confusion, reduce your confusion, not add more confusion to you. But ordinary people don't realize it. They're impressed by these things. I'm telling you, many of you at your levels right now, I just taught you a Dharma. You can help a lot of people. You help them go to, and I don't encourage this, okay? But if you force into that situation, because you're not looking for trouble, but these people come around try to impress you. Just recite the Buddha's name, it scares the heck out of them. Because these beings are yin beings. They hate light. If you recite the Buddha's name, you emit so much light that these beings are so frightened. They cannot come near you. Okay? Yeah. It's kind of cool, you know? You can. That's what you quietly do. You go to these places with your friends who want to see the fortune teller touches you. You say, oh, let me see. You came from Vietnam, Central Vietnam. You like hot, that bún bò, Huế, whatever, you know. And I know everything about you in the past. Okay? And so forth. They know your past, but they have no idea about your future, by the way. Okay? Don't be impressed. When they try to tell you about your future, they're BSing you. The past, they're pretty accurate. They know they have access to your past, but they have no knowledge of your future, guaranteed. Okay. But anyway, so these people do it like that, and you can help reduce their confusion by simply reciting Buddha's name. You can. I only recited like once or twice, and they even dare come near us. It's not like, Emitofuo, 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 Emitofuo. No, I said, Emitofuo, Emitofuo, Emitofuo. See who comes here. Yeah? 8.
From Vicky, Master, is the goal to be stronger than the ghosts so we are not harmed? How do we protect against demons?
Oh, you don't want to mess with demons. Okay? Last thing you want to do is mess with demons. And you need to mess with demons, I would not recommend it. They're pretty nasty. Okay? Best to avoid messing with them. But if you happen to be in those situations and you simply recite the Buddha's name for yourself, they stay away from you. Don't matter onto whatever they do. Okay, you go with your friends and your friends want to see the fortune teller and so forth. Let them. It's none of your business. You just recite Buddha's name so that they don't bother you. That's all. Okay, Go Yin. This woman, I'm sure, goes to see the fortune tellers quite often. Yeah?
Mua vật là thầy con không có thích coi bói.
Okay, but your sister does.
Tại hồi nhỏ thì cha mẹ có nói lại thôi cho mình biết gì thôi, chứ ngon không nói về coi bói, nói về cái gì ngon không có bao giờ thích nữa.
Emitofuo Master, I've never going to the fortune teller because back in the day when I was young, my mom and dad just told me about these things, but I've never been to the fortune telling at all.
Yeah, you're strange because most of people your age and most Asian women, they love to go to see fortune tellers. Even younger Asian women love to do that. And so even here in America, I went to New York, near the CBS building, okay, which is a big building in New York City. And only half a block away, there is a fortune teller storefront. You know, I was walking around, I was there to teach Chan, okay, and the half a block away from the CBS building in New York, there's a fortune teller there, right there at street level. It's very expensive street level to rent, okay? And so I walked by and I said, oh, the tarot cards, whatever. So I was curious, wow, these people have money. There's good business. So I looked in there, I saw it's really have no business at all, just have a desk and 2 women. So I look at the women there, I said, wow, this woman here, the fortune teller is 6 samadhi. Meaning they're high level than most monks and nuns in New York. Yeah, 7.
Mô Phật Bà Thầy, con á, đi ở ngoại, bây giờ ở ngoại mình nước Mỹ này nè, bây giờ nhiều người ta cũng coi bói lắm, mà mình nghe cái giọng nói đó đó, tự nhiên mà con cũng có một cái gì đó, tự nhiên ngọn nghe những cái lời nói của người ta đó, lời nói này là lời nói gạt không à, chứ không có cái nào chân chắn ở trên. Tự nhiên ngọn có cái cảm giác như vậy đó. Mô Phật.
Emitofuo Master, I also went outside, and I know that the people who do the fortune teller, a lot of them participate in that somehow naturally. For me, I've heard all of this is all hogwash, and those are improper words.
Yeah, it's because you have a track record of studying from the great teachers like Master YongHua. That's why it is in your system that you are not drawn to the deviant practices. Whereas people who go to improper teachers and their practices led them to nowhere, that's when they're prone to being drawn by these practices. You're not drawn because your core is very strong. Your core is solid. The people who are impressed by these because they really have no foundation. Yes, 7.
Mô Phật Bạch Thầy, con kể chuyện con có tức cười. Cách đây ông xã con chết năm nay 18 năm rồi. Nhưng mà khi ông chết 2 năm thì lúc có con, từ khi mới chết tới 2 năm con rất là buồn. Tại tối nào, đêm nào con không thấy con buồn lắm. Cái bạn con đó có tâm sự buồn đó mới nói chứ chị Cảnh ở Santana có cái bà coi bói hay lắm. Bây giờ thôi em chở chị đi coi. Thì trong lúc khi nó chở con xuống đó thì nhảm cái vô cái chào báo đồ ở trong đó bây ra. Các bác nói hai cô coi bói hả? Thôi con cầu chờ tôi xíu. Cái xong cái bạn con còn cái ghế, con cũng ngồi gần bên cái ghế. Xong rồi con biểu thôi con bạn con coi trước cái nó coi cái hỏi gì nó cũng gật đầu cái đấy. Cái con mới hỏi chứ ô bà coi đúng không? Cái nó cũng đúng, tôi nói thôi giờ đó tao coi thử sao.
Okay, stop translation.
Emitofuo Master, let me recount you a story. It's kind of funny. My husband passed away 18 years already. So during the first 2 years, every night I was very sad. I always thought of him. So my friend told me to took me with her to go to see the fortune teller in Santa Ana. So then she took me there, and we just put away our stuff. And then there was 2 chairs. I sit in one chair. My friend sat on the other chair. And so then the fortune teller started observing my friend first. And I asked her, what did she say? Are they correct? And my friend reported to me, oh, it's quite correct. So then it is my time, my turn.
Xong rồi con mới nói thôi bây giờ để tao coi thử. Cho chưa bao giờ coi bói lần đầu tiên, tao ghét coi bói lắm, để tao vô thôi để coi bà coi ra làm sao. Cái bà biết con đưa cái tay bà cầm mấy cái đầu con tay bà coi xong bà nói cái gì con không biết bà nói gì nữa, nói gì cũng chặt bắt hết trơn, con cũng gật đầu rồi đó. Cái xong con mới hỏi bà chứ nhiêu vậy cô? 40. Tôi nói cô đúng không? Con nói chặt bắt à? Cô nói tôi sai hết trơn à? Cô nói tại vì cô biết sao sai không? Tại cô ngầu không có ngay, cái ghế không có ngay, tôi nói không đúng. Tôi nói trời mô Phật, cái con đi ra luôn tới giờ luôn á. Bởi câu chuyện con là vậy là hết đó thầy. Con tắc cừ suốt cuộc đời của con đó thầy, mô Phật.
I'm so sorry. Then it is my turn. So then I put out my hands for her to look at my fortune. So then first of all, I give out my hands and she held my hand and she said whatever she said. And I just quietly agreed, but actually everything is wrong, it's all wrong. And then at the end, she asked me how much was that. I asked her how much was that, and she told me it's $40. And she told me, asked me if everything she told me was correct, and I told her it's all wrong. And she blamed it on the chair that moved because I move a lot. So then everything she told me, it was wrong. So then I would just keep that experience in my mind. Every time I thought of it, it was very funny to me.
Tiền hả thầy? Chưa bao được coi bói hả thầy?
Emitofuo Master, this is the first time that I've ever gone to fortune telling. I've never been to that before.
No affinities with you. Yeah. They couldn't. The ghost cannot access her records. That's why. I mean, your defense system is too strong. That's why it could not mess with you.
Con không thích được coi bói, nói đó con ghét không bao giờ coi, tại vì con thấy con buồn ở bạn con, nó kêu con đi, con nói thôi nó coi thử tới bà nó coi có đúng không. Bà coi không có đúng, bà hỏi đúng không cô, tôi nói con nói trật á, rồi mà nói tại con ngầu cái ghế nó không ngay, thành tôi nói cô không có đúng á. Rồi hỏi nhiêu tiền cô? 40 đồng đó. Dạ cảm ơn.
Master, actually, I really don't like to go see fortune teller. I hate doing that, but it is because my friend saw that I was so sad. So then she told me to go tag along with her. So then the fortune teller told me, is that accurate? And I told her, actually, no, it's all wrong. And because my chair moving a lot, it wasn't proper. So then she asked me how much. I told her $40. So then I just paid.
I also can relate to you a funny story that we went to Korea recently. Let me tell you, I went to Korea recently, and we went to Bundang, the Gangnam area. That's a very fashionable area in Seoul, and we decided to eat. So we went to this restaurant from Qinghai. She has disciples in Korea too. So they opened a restaurant. You know those Loving Hut restaurants around here? That's them. Okay. And so we went to the restaurant because that's the one that has vegetarian food. So it's okay, it's vegetarian. So let's go support vegetarian restaurants, because in the US, if you open a vegetarian restaurant, it probably will last a few years, then you have to close. It's not very good business. So I realized that. So I saw this vegetarian restaurant in Seoul. I said, okay, it's tucked away in a very difficult, very hard to find place. So we went there and said, okay, let's eat here. So it's like 8 or maybe 12 of us eating. And we ordered and we ate, and it's not bad. It's good Korean stuff. Okay. Not like here, different flavors, local flavors. But I noticed that, as typical of these idiots, they started, the ghosts there, because they have Dharma protectors too, like us. Our temple has Dharma protectors, okay, meaning that the yin beings, they have no business being here. You come here, they're supposed to stay outside of the fence. They cannot stay inside unless they're here to practice. They're here and they sincerely practice. We allow that. But they're here to cause trouble. They have to go outside of the fence. Okay? This is our territory. You don't come here and mess with us. So I went to that restaurant. I noticed that the ghosts, Dharma protectors there, were offended by us. So they started attacking us. Okay? Like it's just like a little bit of needles here and there. That's about the amount of attack they inflict upon you. So I was look at that. I chuckle. I said, "What? Don't you know better? So I teach you a lesson. Okay? Why don't you? I know this is your restaurant and you're entitled to it. You're entitled to protect your restaurant. Because you offended me, I will put you a mile away, okay? You have to be a mile away from here, and you may not come back for 24 hours. And that's to teach them a lesson. How dare you? I came there as a customer. I was paying money. I gave good tips as well. Don't you respect that? Okay, how dare you let them come harass us? That's what these troublemakers do. They always are causing trouble. Okay, so for 24 hours, they had no protection. Okay, that's our little quiet fun that we have and no one knows about. I know the non-Buddhists are so easily impressed because you do this and do that for them, but these Wu Chou and these beings are only designed to impress you, and that's a wrong basis for your spiritual practice. We don't try to impress people. We can't care less if you're impressed or not. Yes, go ahead, 8.
From Jane, does reciting the Great Compassion Mantra emit as much light as reciting Amitabha?
Yeah, it could, depending on your level. But it's a long one. Why do you want to recite the Great Compassion Mantra? Just recite the Buddha's name. The Buddha's name emits a lot of light, I think. I just don't do anything, okay? I'm just horsing around with you, just to tell you that our practices are. We are teaching a bunch of skills, giving you a bunch of tools for you so that when you're ready, you have a lot of tools in your bag and you can use. That's what Master Shoha did for us, my generation. Okay? That's what we're doing to you. I'm giving you these tools so that you can practice them, and eventually, when you're ready, then I allow you to use them. But don't use them prematurely. I know some of you are here to learn my tricks and learn my tools and pick up my tools only. And I will tell you, you can use them if you like. If you use them prematurely, it will stop your spiritual practice. Because you are going against my instructions. I will no longer protect you. If I don't protect you, you cannot make progress in these mantra practices. Yes, sir. 3.
Master, what is the difference between the fortune telling and the one of people that ask for your birthday and your hour when you were born?
That's different. Usually fortune tellers, they use spirits who possess you. Master YongHua says here, in order for them to access your past records of your past, a ghost has to enter you. And it's very dangerous because once you allow the ghost to enter you, okay, basically they possess you for the duration, meaning that they know how to possess you. You have a label. Wherever you go, they can come in because you allow them. You allow such being. You gave them like your passcode for, like we have the keyless keypad in front of the church. If we give you the passcode and you can enter it, okay? So we have no control anymore. And if you dare give it away to others, okay, I will be very upset. Okay, it's only for you. Okay, you are not allowed to give it to anyone else. We give the code out. You don't give the code out. You give the code out, you're violating our rules. And you pay. Okay? I'm very strict about these things. You get in trouble eventually. Yeah. So anyway, so that's what those fortune tellers usually, they use a ghost to possess you. And that's how they spread the disease. They get more followers by tricking you into allowing them to enter you. You are carriers, like that stupid novice monk at that temple in San Jose. He's a carrier. And he says, all he has to do is that he says, would you like to do this? I will transmit it to you and will anoint your head. And they enter you. Now they have access to you as well. And he's stupid enough to allow them to come in and show off. How stupid these people are. Thinking that we impress the donors and the Buddhist disciples. Some might be impressed, but people like Gu Yin, that such people who have the proper Buddhist foundation would not be impressed at all. Okay? And whereas the people who ask you for your birth date and your death date and what year you're born and the time and so forth, that's a different form of Chinese practices where it's based on some real skills. They can see pretty well into the future, into the past as well, but no ghost. Okay, it's a skill you can pick up, and it's not always accurate. It's like there, you read mine, and you know you. In Buddhism, it does not affect us at all. You can see it, and then we can change it ourselves. Whatever the stars are aligned for, by the time you read it, we can change the alignment later. So it doesn't matter to us. So it's really nonsense, basically. It's a waste of time, to me. Any other questions? Okay, continue.
由这位达摩密多禅师到这儿来呀，把这种风气都给改了。那么因为这种妙法呀，教化众生呢，这个。
Since Chan Master Dharma Mitra arrived here, he changed such customs because he used wondrous Dharma to teach and transform living beings.
众生都知道这个污助这是不对的，这是不是正法。
So all living beings knew Wu Zhu was wrong. It was not the proper Dharma.
所以什么这种妙法就都可以把这个风序都可以改变了。
So this wondrous Dharma could even change the custom, making a change.
And I know it sounds good to you, especially you Asians, say, I'm bringing the proper Dharma, I'm changing things for the better. I don't buy into that thinking. If people want to learn the Wuzhou, whatever, the Wuzhou, whatever, Wuzhou over here, let them. None of our business. You understand? Who asked you to help them? I have a problem with this kind of attitude where you say, I'm the better Dharma, therefore I want to teach you so that the others don't have a chance. It has nothing to do with that. The Dharma is for the people who want to learn. We're not here using a Dharma to cause problems for the ghosts. We're causing problems for the ghosts. It's not necessarily a good thing. Agree or disagree? I know it may sound weird to you, but I don't like you to go out there and have this attitude like this Dharma Mitra and the Asians like to have. I have a better Dharma, so I'm gonna push you out. Hey, there's no reason to do that. They're entitled to be here. It's their homes. Is their offices, is their property. You have to respect that. If they pull the money from their disciples and decide to buy a building, okay, and to propagate their own Dharma, nothing wrong with that. It's their world. Who are we to cause problems for them? We can't save the world. Can you? I can't. Doesn't matter what you do, you're always Republicans, always Democrats who are crazy. What are you going to do? That's our common retribution. Yes, 8.
Master, can I ask a question? So there are people who come here that have spiritual penetrations. And sometimes the people here are impressed by it. Based on the slide that we just looked at, can we tell them that it's more important to listen to the Dharma because it's the one that's opening your wisdom, not the spiritual penetrations?
Say nothing. Because you say anything, it sounds like you're afraid that our people would abandon us and follow all these people who are impressive. Let them follow them. I have no problems. If you feel like following them, follow them. It's wide open. We're not afraid at all. Even they come here, for example, I don't know, you remember that woman there and her connection, the woman who close by, who died? They're externalists, and they claim they're One Yin Bodhisattva, told them to do those things, and they're helpful and so forth. And they died, and what's what? They came to our temple asking to be sent to the Pure Land. I said, okay. Normally I won't, okay, but because these people know them, therefore, okay, I will help you, okay, because none of my business. Why do I have to send you to the Pure Land? Come on. Go do your things. So what happened is that they came, okay? And the first time I look at them, don't you dare cause a problem with me, okay? Because, so the first few times they came, on Sundays where we did the rebirth transference, and the whole family came, like 20 of them, 30 of them. I said, wow, these people are cute, so let them come here. But I said, this is my temple, this is Buddhist temple, don't you dare, behave yourself, okay? So the third week on, so I forgot about it. I said, okay, these people, I hope they understand. So I ignored them. And guess what? They started dancing. And I chuckled. Remember Xian Tong? Were you impressed? So these are always trying to impress and draw attention to themselves. And they were dancing like 5 minutes up here. I was looking at my watch and I have to go get some bobas. How much longer? My point here, yes, there's some people who I can see this, I can see that. Okay, like some people who are no longer here can see things and see that. But why do you think they're here? Because whatever they see is really not doing much for them. They're here because what we teach them is more useful to them. Okay? So if people come and say, okay, I see this, I see that, so okay, good for you. But you don't realize that when they see those things, they become attached to what they see because they have no wisdom. It's extremely dangerous to see those things when you have no wisdom. They walk around and say, I can see things. Master can't see things. I can see things. Can you see my past? I dare you to see my past. I dare you to see her past. It's only to impress the weak, okay, the innocent. Let them. So it's a good way for our people to weed out the weak and say, okay, go follow them. It's okay. Yeah, you don't belong here. It's okay. But again, let me tell you, okay, do not see before you have wisdom. That's my advice to you. All the people who came here and who say, I saw this, I saw that, and somebody tells me, tell me about that, okay, are they still here? Stupid. I don't want to know. I don't want to see, honestly. Okay? You shouldn't either. You have no wisdom. Shouldn't see things you're not supposed to see. Even Master YongHua's disciple who can see things, I said, is that all you can see? My God. You don't see this much and you're so proud of it. It's so stupid. I see this much and you keep on looking at it all day and you're wasting time. Yes, 5, Master YongHua disciples.
Mô Phật của Thầy, những cái người đó nó không có cái chánh niệm, phải không Thầy? Hoặc là nó bị người ta hùa nhau rồi để đi. Mô Phật.
No, it's a cool thing. You don't realize it. Because if you're able to see things, it's so interesting. You say, oh, wow, I didn't realize I could do this. And then, I want to see you, and I want to see her, I want to see her. And that's what you do all day. Instead of cultivating and planting your blessings. All you do is, it's like when I go see a James Bond movie, okay? It cost me $15 to get in. All right? It costs money for me to see a movie. Same thing. Every time you see something, it costs you blessings. Big time. You want that? You want to see, to use up your blessings just like that? To impress Kan, to impress that woman? What for? They're not going to give you money. These guys are tough. They're not going to give you any money. $40 maybe. No more. Right? So why? Why do you keep on looking for? What does it do for you? It causes attachments. All these idiots. Okay? Disciple, Master YongHua, see things and they become so attached to it. My disciples who can see things, they're also attached to what? They keep on looking and looking and looking instead of becoming enlightened. I want you to become enlightened. I don't want you to see. Who gives a damn about what you see or not? What you see will not help you become enlightened. It's what you cannot see that prevent you from becoming enlightened. Idiots. You understand? It's what you cannot see that's obstructing your path. What you can see is of no value to you, to your spiritual practice. Nature, the obstructions, you can't see them. You can't recognize them. You do YongHua, you don't know how they attack you. Guaranteed. They don't know how they confuse you. That's why you can practice all you want. You ain't going to get anywhere. Okay, so that's my answer to you. Yes, you say, okay, that's wonderful, you can see. These people are pretty good. They can see some things that shows they have some attainments. But in a big picture, in this big scheme of things, it's not that helpful in their spiritual practice. Because, again, what they see is very limited. They only see things that are not that useful to them. Like Master YongHua disciple who can see a lot more than these people who came here. And they're in big trouble. Mama, Okay, continue.
就说这家皈依三宝，不信这个无助了，那一家也皈依三宝，也不信无助了，这个。
For example, this family took refuge in the Triple Jewel, stopped believing in Wuju. That family too took refuge in the Triple Jewel. They have also stopped believing in Wuju.
大家都皈依三宝，都不相信这种巫术，把这种风气给改了，是当时的情形。
Everybody took refuge in the Triple Jewel. They all stopped believing in Wuju. So such custom was changed. That was the situation then. He and Meng Yi spent over 3 years together. Later, he went back to Nanjing and lived in Zhongshan Dingling Xia.
Okay, one commentary. These people who follow these externalist paths, There's one serious consequence, is that these externalists, demons and ghosts, they're very attached to their followers, so that when they defect over to us, they have a lot of problems. So that's why we're not excited in receiving such disciples. I have no interest, to be honest with you. Okay? Because they have all sorts of obstruction in their spiritual practice coming from their prior ghosts and spirits and demons. They come and harass them and really stop them and cause a lot of problems. Okay, and you have to extricate them from there. And so typically, they come over, let them come over, and eventually leave on their own accord because the obstruction are too much for them. Unless become really sincere, then we might help. But it's a lot of baggage they're carrying. Once you follow these externalist paths, they're very attached to you. They hate it when you leave them, and they will make you pay for leaving them. So there's some consequence, but that's life. If you choose wrong, you have to pay the price. So this guy here, Mitra and Meng Yi, spent 3 years together, and that doesn't impress me. I would not bother spending 3 years on official. Okay. Because these officials, they have the power, they have the money, and they're very opinionated, and you have no business studying the Dharma with them. Either you teach them, or they teach you. You don't investigate with them. Okay, yeah. It's weird. So anyway, so he spent 2 years with them, meaning that Mitra is not skill and wisdom is not that good. That's why he would waste 3 years hanging around with. Okay, but then back then in China, he's a big shot. But for us in the U.S., it's too low. Shall we continue, or are we gossiping a lot, don't we? Huh? Even the Koreans who went with me to that vegetarian restaurant in Gangnam, they didn't realize I was chasing those ghosts and demons away. They all ate without any clues. It's so it's the same rationale. So you see them, what are you going to do? So you see the ghosts around you. What are you going to do about it? You can't do anything about it. Then what's the point in seeing? Okay, continue. Yes, 8.
From Ray Zhuang. Master, I keep hearing you mention Huatou. I don't know if you explained it before, but what is Huatou?
Huatou is one of the so-called, the Chinese are in love with the Koreans. In particular, Koreans are adamant about, the Korean Sunims are adamant about practicing the Huatou. And the Chinese especially, they consider the Asians, especially the Chinese and the Koreans and so forth, and the Vietnamese and some Japanese, they consider it to be an advanced Chan practice. I used to believe that too, until I found a lot more powerful Dharma doors. To me, Huatou is a form of practice, Chan practice, where you have you investigate a topic, such as what is the sound of one hand clapping, or so that you can choose, or the master can give you some investigation topic. such as that, or what is your original face before your parents gave birth to you, what is Wu, and there's lots of topics in the Huatou. Hua is word, Tou is head, word head. Okay, so by looking, investigating in these topics, you will be able to become enlightened. And this is it's actually a pretty good Dharma door for the ones who are more intellectually minded people based on our Wei Yang experience. But I personally have a disdain for the Huatou because I listened to my master's explanation of Huatou. I couldn't practice it, and that's the seeds for my discontent, my disenchantment for the Huatou. But I don't advocate that you should practice a Huatou because number one, it requires you a total dedication. You need to be 24 hours a day. You cannot take a break. You take a break, it's not going to work. You do Huatou, and let's say, you say, okay, Huatou, you're supposed to do 24 hours a day. But you do Huatou, and then let's say you take a break and go buy a burger outside. Okay? That interruption right there is very bad for your Huatou practice. So it requires 24 hours commitment. It's very demanding. If you do that, then you can get to the Huatou. If you don't do that, which most people don't, like the Korean Sunims and so forth, they do for 3 months. And then they take a break for 3 months. And they come back and do for 3 months. You see, they're constantly taking breaks. Okay? Because of that, the Huatou practice does not tolerate interruptions. That's why they don't get very far. Okay? And that's one big problem I have with the Huatou. The other thing is, to me, I find it too slow. Way too slow. Okay, because the essence of Chan is sudden teaching. Huatou is a slow teaching. It's really very slow teaching. That's why I don't like it. Okay, too slow for me. We don't have a lot of time for you to spend years investigating Huatou. Okay, and then you really have no control over your level of enlightenment with the Huatou. You can't control it. Now, I want you to practice. I want you to get to a certain level. Okay, that is controllable. Huatou, you throw it to the Huatou, which is because it's the unique nature of the Huatou. You cannot control it. Where you're going to land. Okay, and so like Xu Yun, he did Huatou, he landed at so and 4. Eventually, he got to 8th because you remember Master Xu Yun was 100% dedicated to Huatou. We're not. We can't afford to do that. Okay, even so, after he spent 30 years doing Huatou, his level is not that high. Too slow. So personally, Ray, I don't like it. I don't advise you to do it. You want to do Huatou, I will support you, but I feel that it's inferior Dharma. I hope that Korean Sunims will one day wake up and realize that too slow, too low. Okay, 10 more minutes, we stop at 9. Go on.
他认为这一个定名下次 水势很低，接近水，那么不太好。
He felt that this Dingling Xiasi, its location was very low and near water, which is not good.
所以他又在这个中山的上面，又找了一块地。
Therefore, he located another piece of land on top of Zhongshan.
他说这块地这个地方和这个嵩山和华山差不多，那种环境。
He said this land, this location has a similar environment compared to Songshan and Huashan.
所以他在这个地方呢，又造了一个定林上寺。造这个定林上寺的时候，这个地方一般老百姓呢都来帮工。
Thus, he built the Dingling Shangsi at this place. During the construction of Dingling Shangsi, all the locals came to help.
来帮着造寺，没有好久啊，就把这个寺院给造成功了。地方老百姓。
They came to help build the temple. It didn't take long for the construction to finish. There's a question?
Yes.
From Cordelia. Master, I recite with your recording every day. When I turn it off, I sometimes hear my head reciting for a few minutes after. But this morning it kept reciting in my head for about 30 minutes. I kept checking on my hearing to see if I'm crazy.
Is it my voice or someone else's voice? I'm joking. It's a good state. Have no worries. It's a natural state. It's a good one. What was she reciting?
She didn't say.
Okay, continue.
姓呢，就争着来供养。当时所有的佛教徒各处啊，又都到这个地方来听经了。
All locals were vying to make offerings to him. At that time, all Buddhists from everywhere went to this place to draw near him.
知道他是一个大善知识，所以都来亲近这个法秀禅师，在这个修行。
They knew he was a great, good, knowing advisor, so they all came to draw near this Chan master Fa Xiu and to cultivate. Cordelia was listening to the Heart Sutra, and she heard your voice over and over again.
It's a good thing. She's not crazy. That's normal.
那么很多的，从1万 1万里地以外来到这亲近这位善知识。
Many of them came from 10,000 miles away, from 10,000 miles afar to draw near this good knowing advisor.
Anyways, let's stop here. One more commentary, and I want to make it clear why I stand, and I'm not making any excuses about it. Okay, I looked at history of the master of the Wei-Yang lineage, who they taught the Huatou and what Dharma they were transmitted from Wei-Shan and Yang-Shan. And all I know is that I noticed he only taught Huatou to one guy, Xiang Yan. And Xiang Yan took Xiang Yan quite a long time to become enlightened. And basically, to us, I look at it as Xiang Yan is not good enough. That's why he's basically taught the Dharma and told to be on his own, like Xu Yun. Okay, and that's why it took them quite a while. Xu Yun took him 30 years to get there. The Xiang Yan is much better. He's quite a bit faster. Okay, but still, these people who are not good enough. That's why you have to transmit it to them and so forth. Whereas the way that Master Wei-Shan trained Yang-Shan didn't have to teach Huatou. And from what I gather from Yang-Shan's training, he didn't teach Huatou either. So you see, from our Wei-Yang lineage, we don't think very highly of the Huatou. Our founders didn't think highly of the Huatou. It's only later now where people are more confused. That's why the patriarch came up with these, like Xu Yun came up with these Huatou things, which I think is a bad idea. Okay, because think about it. You don't have the same condition as Xu Yun. You can devote your entire day practicing the Huatou when you have to go to work. You have to go home, see your husband. You have to take care of your children. Your father just died. How are you going to practice Huatou now? All the things you practice, gone. That's why it's very inefficient, very inappropriate for our times. It's wrong. Okay? And there's lots of reasons why, and I know I'm the only guy so far in these times where I would dare go against the grain, because I find that all these misconceptions that the Koreans planted in their Sunims and their disciples, like I met many devout Korean Buddhist disciples who practice Huatou because Sung Cho Sunim taught them too, the other Sunim taught them too, and I said, but you stuck. The Huatou is going to extricate you from it because you run into the problem. It requires a total dedication, which you don't have. You have a family. You have a job. And even if the Sunims there, they have to go to work. They have to go to work to make money, to pay for the rent, to pay for the cars. How are they going to practice Huatou? So that's why they have this system. The Koreans are very, very generous. They join their samdang there for 3 months. Chances are that they pay you some money after you finish the 3 months so that you can go and travel. But right there, the break is unhealthy. It's not good for your Huatou practice. So that's why inherently the Korean Sunims, I feel that if they keep on insisting of teaching the Huatou to their Korean disciples, they will find fewer and fewer disciples who will make it. And case in point, most Sunims don't make it anymore. Most Korean disciples don't make it anymore. And that's why it's a very unhealthy state of thing. And the Chinese too. The Chinese, they practice Hua Tou too. Master Hsuan practice Hua Tou. I look at them and say, you've been practicing for 30, 40 years with an ideal environment, you still like this? It tells you. It's very, very difficult and it's very easy to get obstructed, the Hua Tou. That Xiang Yan guy is interesting. Xu Yun is interesting because they overcame their obstructions. But if you're on your own and you don't have their blessing, you're not going to be able to make it. There's some fundamentally wrong practices, the Hua Tou, I'm not going to go into it, it's too technical for you. There's something fundamentally wrong, the Hua Tou practice, that I do not like. And that's why the last known Guiyang patriarch, Master YongHua, disciples, I don't think none of the Hua Tou practitioners of his made it as far as my disciples who don't, I just plainly tell them, don't practice Hua Tou because it's too slow, too low. Okay, that's where I stand, that's all. So you're not going to impress me with your Hua Tou practice. I haven't seen anyone practicing Hua Tou that is impressive enough for me to change my mind. Okay, thank you everyone. We stop here tonight. Thank you all. And Master Xin, our condolences again. And our thoughts are with you and your family. And whatever we can do for you, we'll be here. Okay. All right.